Welcome back to the THE Counsellor. We have a very exciting institution with us today. We have Samiad British Summer Schools that are going to talk to us about their incredible summer programs based around the UK for high school students. So before we kick things off, I'm just going to let everyone know how the session is going to be run. So we're going to go through the presentation and then have a Q&A at the end of the session. If you would like to leave any questions, there's a Q&A box at the bottom, so feel free to drop any questions there. And I will now pass over to Phil to kick off the session.
Hi guys, nice to be introduced to you all. So I'm Phil. I'm one of the owners and founders of Samiad Summer School, a premium language provider in the UK. We're just going to start things off first of all by just sharing a quick sort of highlights video with you all, so you can get a bit of a flavour for what we do first of all, and then we'll start going through the presentation. During the presentation, if you have any questions at all, you can just put them in the chat box, and we have some staff here from the HQ at Samiad in England who will be able to get back to you as soon as possible to answer those questions in the chat box. Okay, thanks very much. So I'm just going to share the presentation with you now. Just hold on 1 second. I hope you guys can see the screen there. So welcome to Samiad Summer Schools. So we are, as I mentioned, a premium language provider for juniors aged 7 to 17. We've been hosting junior international students at our schools since 2013. And now, as you can see, we have 11 specialist courses over 7 campuses across the UK. We also do some mini-stay programs, which are sort of immersive experiences for closed groups. We can tailor those groups and tours to you as you wish. We have some immersion programs as well, where you can have a taste of what it's like to live in an English boarding school and then go to boarding school here in the UK. And we also run some online programs through our sister company, Tutor School, which come as either one-to-one sessions or in group sessions as well. So over that time, since 2013, we've hosted nearly 10,000 students actually over all that time. And this year, we're going to host nearly 2,000 students from over 80 countries as we continue to grow our presence here in the UK. So why would you choose Samiad? So there's obviously many different summer school providers in the UK. Samiad is positioned near the top of the market. There's a few things that make us different to everybody else. So first of all, we have a 20% nationality cap. So when you arrive on campus at Samiad, there won't be a lot of nationalities a lot of people from the same country. We always have at least 20 different nationalities on campus at the same time. And the maximum group sizes that we can expect is probably around about 25. So we also have a very, very high staff to student ratio of 1:6. Last year, it was 1:5. And again, that is extremely high for this type of program within the UK. We offer free airport transfers for every single student. And we also have excursions that are unique in this industry. So with many other summer schools, you may have, typical walking tours to different places. We have overnight stays included for every single student. So every time that you experience a Samiad program for 2 weeks, you will get a overnight stay at either Warwick Castle Glamping Village, which is one of the premier medieval castle experiences in the UK, or an overnight trip in London. We are the only summer school who offer those types of trips. When you come, you can choose from 11 different specialisms, sorry. The majority of students will choose the multi-activity program, which is a great mixture of everything. But if you do have an interest in football or art, tennis, basketball, or any of the specialisms that are listed there, then we can cater for you as well. So just a little bit more about that. So you can see our locations there on the right-hand side. We've got actually 7 schools, but we'll leave the 7th one for a special mention in a little while. So these are some of the things that go into a typical Samiad program. So in every program, we have 15 hours of English language tuition per week, which typically happens in the morning, 5 days a week. As I mentioned, we've got the 11 courses. The activity schedule that we offer is extremely imaginative. So again, if you sort of compare programs like for like with some of our competitors in the UK, this is really something, again, that sets us apart. So we have, as you can see, go-karting, we have virtual reality headsets, we have drones, we have robots, we have Zorbs. It's a really sort of imaginative schedule that the team have put together. Obviously, safeguarding is very high on the list of priorities at Samiad. As I mentioned, we've got a very high staff-to-student ratio of 1:6. But obviously, everybody is DBS checked. Everybody has a background check. Every adult that comes with a group will require a police check from their own country as well. And yeah, with the group leaders who come to Samiad, typically with school groups, we offer places complimentary. There's no expectation on those group leaders in terms of behavior management or participation in with anything to do with the pastoral care. That's all taken care of by our staff, and those group leaders aren't included in the staff to student ratios that we advertise either. So they're just literally for you to come, be some more eyes with the group, and enjoy England, as a child. Just move on to the next slide. So yeah, some of the programs that we offer, as I mentioned, we have 11 different programs at Samiad. You can see sort of on the right-hand side there, we have the multi-activity program. We also have an agreement with Paris Saint-Germain Football Club, who are one of the biggest global football clubs, to do their football programs for them, for international students in the UK. We have equestrian centres that are located very close to the schools for anybody who wishes to do some horse riding activities. At some of our campuses, we have golf courses actually on the site. And then in other campuses, we have, again, sort of relationships with local professional golf courses where they can do the tuition there. For anybody who wishes to do some more intensive English, so upping that 15 hours a week to 30 hours a week, we have a program for that. The tennis will work in the same way as the golf. So we have some tennis courts on site. We will bring some LTA professionals to the campus to deliver that part of the tuition. And then we also offer a performing arts program, an arts program. We offer a STEM product with a robotics course. We have a basketball program as well. And then we also have a course that's slightly different, which we call the London Explorer program. So instead of a typical schedule where you maybe do the English and then you do some campus activities in the afternoons, we actually offer a program where you can explore London and see everything that London has to offer with a trip every single day. So again, we'll chat a little bit more about that later on. So as I alluded to at the beginning, the trips are really what sets us apart. That's one of our genuine sort of unique selling points about Samiad and what makes it so special. So the overnight trip to Warwick Castle and London, that is where the entire campus body will actually go, leave the campus and move to either the grounds of a medieval castle or to some accommodation within London. The Warwick Castle experience in general is something quintessentially English and something that really needs to be experienced to know what it's like. Now we have a accommodation in a mixture of the bell tents that you can see in the middle of the screen, but also we have some glamping lodges that host anything from 5 to 8 people with their own bathroom. And what we do is we have an all-you-can-eat banquet as soon as we arrive. We have the games that the actors who are dressed up as knights will deliver. So whether it's a magic school or a night school or pretending to be a princess and things like that, we have some activities for all ages with that. We also have entry to the castle the next day. We have dungeon entry as well, and then all of the the shows that Warwick Castle will put on during the day. We experience all of those, including a Birds of Prey show, obviously entry to the castle as well. Some of the other trips that we have down there, we have trips to Cambridge. We also try and include theme parks, obviously, in there for a little bit of fun as well. So we go to Alton Towers and also Thorpe Park, which are two of the biggest and best theme parks in the UK. We have a visit to York. We go down to Brighton on Brighton Pier. We have a safari park experience. We go to Oxford. We do punting trips at both those locations in Oxford and Cambridge. With the London overnight stay, we have a fantastic boat party where we hire a big boat that has up to 350 capacity. We have food on there. We have lots of food on there. We have a disco that goes well into the night. And that is a boat that goes up and down the Thames, seeing London at night, which is just a fantastic experience with everybody in a party mood, I would say. If you are staying at Samiad for longer than 2 weeks, which is sometimes the case, we also have some alternative excursions as well that you can do. So we have a trip to Harry Potter Studios. We have Stratford upon Avon. With our PSG football program, we have the Arsenal Stadium tour as well. And then some other things that we do include the London Eye, Windsor Castle, Madame Tussauds, Hampton Court Palace, and then we also have a skiing experience in Manchester for anybody who is that way inclined. This is a grid of all of our specialisms that we have for this year. So you can see some of those. If we go just quickly through a typical 1 week activity for the multi-activity program, which is sort of the main program that students will sign up for. I would probably estimate around 2/3 of our students will enroll on this program. This is what a typical day will look like. So in the mornings, our staff will wake the kids up, and we have staff who actually stay within obviously within the student accommodation. They'll make sure they're awake, make sure they're delivered to breakfast. Once they've had their food, they'll then go to the assembly, which we deliver all the important and pertinent information for the day. And then it's off to the English classes. So the English lasts all the way up till lunchtime, till 1 o'clock. And then in the afternoon, that afternoon slot after the lunch, that's when you will do, the multi-activity program that's been designed. So you can see some of the typical activities that will go on, in a lunchtime, whether it's the VR, archery, drones. Obviously, we've got yoga, go-karts, the robots, escape room activities. If you are on a specialism, it will be that slot after lunch where you will do, your particular session. So if you've signed up for Paris Saint-Germain, that's when you will do the PSG tuition. If you're doing tennis, golf, basketball, it will be that slot between 2 and 5 where you'll do that. In the bit of a time just before dinner, we try and do sort of a big, almost a campus get together, if you like. So if you want some free time to call home and check in with your parents, and that's fine, you can do that there. But we also have, some time for swimming, maybe a little time for basketball, and some field games outside of the dinner hall. We have dinner, and then in the evening times, that's when we tend to do a whole campus activity. So, things like music bingo, the murder mystery, more relaxed things that tend to happen as well in the boarding houses a couple of times a week, just for a bit of downtime. But the majority of these events are events. They're big, scheduled, prepared activities that happen, which bring the whole campus together in their groups. Just to give you a little bit of insight, really, into sort of the imagination that happens with these events. If we just take the very first thing, murder mystery there, this isn't something that the kids will just show up to. So for a murder mystery, the staff might look to create almost artificial, maybe an argument between two people in the dining room, an argument between two staff, which will then act as an alibi later on in the murder mystery. So these type of things will happen sort of days before, leading up, or maybe staff will swap trainers, or there'll be something that will happen that will be conscious in the students' minds, that will play into the clues for the murder mystery, maybe 24 or 48 hours later. So that's sort of the kind of detail that we try and go into with the evening events. The accommodation is obviously very important to a lot of parents and a lot of schools. Obviously, where Samiad is located, we have some of the most premium boarding facilities and boarding schools in the UK. These are schools that full-time students will pay anywhere from £50,000 to £75,000 per year for. So it's always up to standard for summer lets. There's a whole mixture of different accommodation that we offer based on your needs. So we have single ensuite rooms, all the way up to shared rooms of 5 people in each bedroom. But all the accommodation obviously has all the mod cons that you would expect. So obviously they've got Wi-Fi throughout the whole of the boarding and all of the campuses as well. All the accommodation is very secure. As I mentioned, we have our staff staying in the accommodation with the students as well. All of the boarding houses will have a communal social space, and every student that comes to Samiad will also get the laundry included as well, which is obviously nice for students who are staying for at least for 2 weeks. It's important that they put their clothes in at least once per week, and that will come back the following day or 2 days later, sort of washed, dried, and folded for the students. Just in the bottom right hand corner, you can see just also about the food at Samiad. So again, the catering options are options that are carried on from the full-time offering straight through to the summer. So it's everything that you would expect. All, proteins, carbohydrates, fats. It's all carefully thought out. All of our menus are standardized across all of the campuses in the same way, and it's just tried to be as varied and exciting as possible. If anybody has any dietary requirements at all, whether that be, vegan, vegetarian, obviously any intolerances, whether you have any need for halal options, we can cater for all of those if we have that information in advance. That's no problem. The kitchens are usually very accommodating with all of that. You can see there, that's a quick glimpse at our 6 of our 7 schools that we have there. Trent College, and we've been at since 2014. It's our oldest school. We've been there every single year. Bromsgrove and Marlborough are new additions for this year. They're sort of upgrades on the campuses that we've had previously, which we're very excited about. Box Hill and Caterham, they are schools that we've been with. Box Hill a very long time, Caterham a couple of years now, and they are ideally located in Surrey, which is only really sort of half an hour to 40 minutes away from Heathrow and Gatwick, both of those schools, and offer quite good convenience into London. The Oratory School in Oxfordshire, this will be our 3rd year returning to the Oratory. It's around about half an hour south of Oxford, and again provides quite good transport links into London as well. So our 7th campus, which we're very excited about, this is Eton College. So for somebody who doesn't know, Eton is probably the most famous school in the world. So it's the school of royalty and global leaders. We're very excited to obviously have an allocation of beds there for this year to bring Samiad to Eton College. And what we've designed is almost like a VIP summer experience. So we've included a lot more trips. A lot of the kids will get branded merchandise as well. There's going to be a gala dinner and awards night. We're going to have a guest speaker and also provide, a lot of different gifts for the kids. So whether it's, bespoke chocolate bars, water bottles, special T-shirts, hoodies. So we can just have a little look at that program now. So yeah, you can see it's generally structured in the same way with the meal times and the English language lessons, in the morning time. But then obviously you can see what trips we've planned to do at Eton, and also some of the activities as well. That experiencing life as an Eton student is almost like a once in a lifetime opportunity, really. Eton College do tours of the school, which is quite hard to do, in general for people here in the UK, but actually, getting to stay and stay in the same boarding accommodation as all the different alumni that you might be able to find on the internet is just a fantastic opportunity. Eton is also located in Windsor, which is very close to Heathrow Airport as well. So it's only about 15 minutes from Heathrow, making the transfer extremely convenient. Other things that Samiad do include mini stays. So mini stays are bespoke programs that we could do for school groups outside of the summertime. So anytime sort of outside that May, July and August holiday period, if you wish to come to the UK and have the Samiad experience, we can cater to your needs and create a bespoke program, especially for you. If you guys want, more English, less English, you want to do more trips, you want to do a trip to Scotland, you want to do anything, you want to structure it in any way, from from maybe 3 days all the way up to 4 weeks. Then we have partners who we work with who we can facilitate all of that for you. So Burlington School of English is an old friend of ours who has a school in London, fantastically located in Balham, with really sort of up-to-date modern accommodation. Sherborne School is one of the most prestigious boarding schools in the UK. So they are a boys' school and a girls' school has recently come together. But they have, fantastic, stunning accommodation. The school setting is fantastic, in this rural location. And yeah, we have access to, to both of those centres for the whole year. So any program that you wish to stay, obviously we have some sample programs to show you guys. But anything that you wish to edit within those programs, we can pretty much cater for that. Another sort of string to our bow would be the immersion experience that we offer. So immersion is where you will come to the UK and live in a boarding school and actually study alongside all of the UK student body within that school. So we have some schools that we work with where you could stay from anywhere from 1 week all the way up to 3 months. Again, you will live as a student. You will wear the school uniform, do all of the extracurricular activities. You will eat and live with the students. You'll do all the same classes as the students, plus some extra EFL classes if that's necessary. And that's something again that you can do anytime outside of the summer with Samiad. We also offer online English as well. So we offer one-to-one English language tuition or group tuition as well. This is something that we started 3 or 4 years ago now, just during COVID. And currently we have a student body of around about 500 kids who will study each day with Samiad. And we can provide demos of our systems and curriculums. We cater to every single level. So again, if you have any sort of interest in that program, then we can send you some information following the presentation. Okay, so sort of applying for Samiad is very easy. So if you prefer as a group, if you want to apply just with one of our Excel spreadsheets, if it's easier for you just to collate the details, we don't need very much information at all to sort of set the booking up. We can handle all that sort of in the office for you. If you wish to use our online booking system, we can do that as well. We have a link that you can just click and you can just do it all via our website. In terms of what we expect for sort of the reservation and the payment, typically as part of a group, we require almost like an allocation deposit of £150 per person per week. So that will secure your places at Samiad. And then further down the line, then we would expect the 50% and then the 100% of the course fees. But yes, just registering a group or some intent for some group, it would be 150 per person per week. Obviously, as part of that process, we can do all the visa letters as well. If that's necessary, we provide the documentation for that, and we have people in the office who will be able to talk you through that process. In terms of pricing, for 2 weeks, you can see the pricing on the screen now. These are all of the programs that we have at every single school that we have for this summer. At the moment, we have limited availability in some weeks and then good availability in some other weeks. So again, following the email, we can send you a matrix of what availability we have left. Obviously, in July, it's a lot more popular than it is in August. So, if anybody has any interest for August, we have quite good availability. Like I mentioned, that the maximum group size would maybe be 25, or at some of our bigger campuses, we can maybe push to 30. And that group size, if you were to send a group of that sort of size, you would be the only sort of speakers of your language on campus at that time, we would then stop all applications for, from anybody else. This is a quick sort of overview of some examples of the mini stays that are the programs that happen outside of the summertime. So you can see just some typical stays, in London or at Sherborne School as we discussed. The programs for residential start at £715 per person per week. If you would like host family accommodation instead of full board residential, so that would be staying with a local family instead of at the school instead for a slightly different experience, then that does bring the price down a little bit to £695 for 7 nights. Okay, so just some sort of key information. So the cut-off date, I suppose, is the 31st of May. If you haven't really got your applications in by the 31st of May, or your deposits, I should say, then it's maybe getting a little bit late, and we wouldn't be able to, to arrange all the fantastic things that we do at Samiad if it goes any later than that. Obviously for 2026 as well, we've got inquiries already for 18 months time. So we're always open to having a chat about that. The winter bookings for the year-round programs, there's really at any time. So obviously that's open at the moment, but that can be an ongoing discussion with a staff member from Samiad about that. As we mentioned, the programs are sort of most cost-effective program starts from £1,600 per week. And our dates, the earliest date that you can come this year is the 29th of June. And then we run all the way to the 24th of August. So you can see just at the bottom, just a little recap in terms of what we offer. So we've got the summer schools, we have the mini stays outside of the summer. We've got then the boutique trips that we can do for you, plus the immersion at a UK boarding school, or some of the online stuff that we do with Tudor School. Accommodation, obviously ensuite, shared rooms, it's all, the top boarding school facilities. Excursions to everywhere you can think of, including obviously the overnight trips, which are very important to remember. Safety and supervision, obviously with the high staff to student ratio. Obviously our staff to student ratio is also overnight, which is worth remembering. Sort of another one of our, an important point, I suppose, about Samiad is our academic staff stay overnight, which is quite rare for summer schools in the UK. Usually a lot of our competitors would have their academic staff, coming in the morning, delivering the English language tuition, and then maybe going home locally. Whereas we have all of our academic staff staying in the accommodation with the students. So yes, the students will actually be living with the teachers. Samiad has grown, our student numbers have grown every single year since 2013, apart from the COVID year, which shows that we're doing something right. We have a lot of repeat bookings. We have a lot of returning students and loyal schools that come back year after year. So yeah, we just try and do our best, try and be as imaginative as possible. And yeah, we always have sort of the safety and the safeguarding at the top of our agenda. Here's just a few testimonials from students from last year. It's worth sort of highlighting the amount of different nationalities that we have on campus, as well as the small school groups. We also have a lot of our students come as individuals, or maybe ones and twos at the same time. So, being able to take individuals as well as those small and medium-sized groups, that can guarantee, those sort of at least 20 nationalities on campus at the same time. So we try and create an atmosphere where English is the main thing that the kids have in common, and that sort of forces them to to use their English, which is great. Okay, so I think we've reached the almost the end. So there's obviously a bit of time for questions and answers. So I don't know whether anybody's got any obviously any questions
Just
that
to
we
sort
can
of,
answer that we haven't already answered in the chat. I'm not sure.
oh, firstly, thank you so much, Phil. That was an amazing insight into Samiad and how everything's run. Just as a reminder to counsellors, you can leave questions at the bottom of the Zoom. If we don't have any at the moment, there are some frequently asked questions, so I'm happy to read these out and we can kind of run through them if that works.
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
Perfect. We've actually had one question just come to the chat box just now. So the first one is, are we going to receive the materials in our emails? I think I could probably take this one on in that I think we'll be sending out all of the relevant material in a follow-up email to you, including a recording of the session. So anything you want to add, Phil, on that?
No, no, yeah. I mean, any obviously we'll send an email out with with all the things that we mentioned sort of in the recording. We'll obviously open the dialogue then to, everyone will have our email addresses and contact details. So we obviously have a team of, of staff in the UK that can answer questions at any time, whether it's on email or WhatsApp or whatever's convenient for you. So yeah, we're pretty quick on the responses because we know sort of how important it is to get back quickly.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's good. That's good for the counsellors to know. So I might just run through some of the frequently asked questions then, and we'll see how we get on.
Okay.
Um, what is the minimum age requirement for the summer school programs?
So we run programs from as young as 7 years old, all the way up to 17. So yeah, again, it's sort of a bit of a differentiator for Samiad. Again, a lot of other summer schools similar to us will only start their programs from age 12, but we actually take students from as young as 7. Obviously, airlines run unaccompanied minors if there's students who wish to travel independently, but usually the younger kids will form part of a group. Um, with the younger ones as well, any program that we offer at the schools, we also have a non-residential option, which we didn't mention here. So if you do have a couple of parents who don't feel comfortable sending their children that young, we can offer a non-residential option where they do everything just apart from the accommodation. So the parents can drop the kids off, as early as 8 a.m. for breakfast and pick them up as late as 9:30. But usually what parents would do would be to book some local accommodation in a hotel or an Airbnb. And then we have a team on campus at each of the schools that manages the non-residential students as well. So it's just worth remembering.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, the second question was, um, what are the kind of like English language requirements in order to apply? For
Yeah,
schools?
yeah. So we actually don't have a minimum English language requirement. So we have students all the way down from A1 all the way up to fluent pretty much. We actually have a almost like a new curriculum that's been designed for for high level students for this year. We have obviously a document that we can send out with details for all of that, but we are a non-selective summer school. As you can imagine, at each school we have around about 150 students per week at each campus. We do cap our class sizes at 15, so all students who are obviously on campus, there'll be at least 10 different classes that they can go into, and all at varying levels. So there's always something for everyone in that regard.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's good to know that. The programs are very accessible as well. So another question was roughly how big would you say a cohort is for each summer school?
Yeah, I kind of jumped the gun a little bit there. Nice. So it's about 150, give or take, I would say. So some of our schools are slightly smaller and some of them are slightly bigger. Um, at Eton, we have around about 80 beds that are available. And then at Trent College, we have around about 180 beds that are available. So yeah, anywhere between those two numbers. Typically in July, it's a bit busier. And like I say, in August, it tends to drop off a little bit. But yeah, a school, an average student cohort, if I could look at a random week in July, would probably be 150 students. It would be around about 25 to 30 staff as well. And those students on campus with that size of 150, there'd probably be around 30 nationalities on campus at that time.
Brilliant. Yeah, so that was the other question. So it sounds like there's no, that's good. It sounds like there's a good mix of nationalities as well. So yeah, the other thing is if there's kind of like an admissions portal or like a link to apply to for the summer school programs, we can include that as well in the email we send to counsellors after.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest thing to do. So we have an online link that's really easy to use. It just goes through our website and then that information is pulled directly to our system. Again, I think I mentioned before, if there's counsellors who want to just use an Excel spreadsheet, they can do that as well. There's no, absolute requirement to use the link because obviously for multiple students, it can be a bit time consuming for people to do that. So if people have already collected the names, the date of birth, the passport numbers, the genders, all of the stuff that we would require, just in an Excel format, that's also fine. And we have staff here who will be able to manage all of the sort of that administration work, in the office in the UK.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I think potentially there might just be one more question, and apologies if this is already covered, but
Mhm.
just in terms of like, are there any scholarships or discounts provided, or is it kind of done on a case by case basis, or how does the kind of pricing work?
Yeah, so the pricing is just the advertised pricing that we have on the website, and the information that's given through our staff in the UK. Occasionally, we might offer a scholarship for maybe a really large group. It just really depends on the numbers, the campus, maybe the program. But these are things, as you mentioned, they can just be done on a case by case basis. But that is something that we could possibly look at. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you. Yeah, I think that's it in terms of questions. I'm not sure if you had any kind of closing words before we end the session today.
Yeah, it was just mainly thank you all for joining. It's always nice as the owner and the founder to do a almost like a full recap and tell you all the story of Samiad really. Yeah, we've obviously been going for 11 years now, and we've in that time we've grown sort of the brand, if you like, to be one of the most reputable and sort of well-known summer schools in the UK. And now we have some of the most prestigious campuses in the UK and in the world now with Eton and Marlborough. So we're really excited for what the future holds. We always keep the experience at the heart of everything we do. The activities, the trips, the evening events are sort of what we hang our hat on, really. And that's the things that the kids go away really enjoying and going home and telling mum and dad about. So it's something that we'll always continue to do. We think there's a real sort of opportunity to keep making it better and better and better. So we'll just continue to do that. This year and for the foreseeable future.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much to all the panelists, especially Phil, for that wonderful presentation, and also the counselors for attending. if any of you have missed the session today, just a reminder, we'll be circulating the recording round. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.